Hello everybody, Sab here. I hope you're doing fantastic. So this is part 3 of our series videos about verb tenses. هذا فيديو رقم 3 حول الازمنة. So previously, in the very first video, we talked about the two tenses, the two basic ones, أبسط زمنين, the past and the present, okay? الماضي والحاضر. In the second video, في الفيديو الثاني, we talked about the present and the past continuous, the progressive tense, okay? الماضي والحاضر المتتابع. So today, we're talking about the perfect tense. The perfect tense. So the perfect tense is المضارع أو الماضي التام, okay? Perfect. So before I start, I have this this timeline, like سلم زمني, all right? So I have 3 tenses, the past, الماضي, that we know, and I have the present perfect, and I have the present, الحاضر, okay? So I want you to think that the present perfect, المضارع التام, okay, it links, يربط, it links the past with the present, يربط بين الماضي والحاضر. So it comes in the middle, okay, يأتي في الوسط, it links them. So the perfect tense in general, بصفة عامة, okay, in general, the past perfect or the present perfect, it means that something has been completed before. It's completed before now, okay? تمت المهمة, okay? So completed before now, completed before, تمت من قبل, okay? So we start with the present perfect. I don't know if you remember, but in the previous lessons, I told you that in the continuous tense, we are dealing with the auxiliary to be in the past and the present continuous. في الماضي الحاضر في الماضي المتتابع والحاضر المتتابع نتعامل مع الauxiliary to be. Is ing, ing, I am swimming, she is swimming, we are swimming, and there is or in the past في الماضي المتتابع, the past continuous, I was swimming, كنت أسبح, she was swimming, we were swimming, كنا نسبح, I was swimming too, okay? So, in the perfect tense في الزمن الحاضر التام والمضارع التام, we are dealing with the auxiliary have. نتعامل مع auxiliary have. I don't know if you remember, but I told you that have is used with the perfect tense. Okay? Have نستعمله مع perfect tense. الحاضر التام, المضارع التام والحاضر أو الماضي التام. Alright? So, when do we use the present perfect tense? متى نستخدم هذا الزمن, okay? We use it to talk about unfinished past. Unfinished past, okay? An unfinished past is something that is still not complete, okay? Here's an example. My parents have been married for 25 years. My parents have been married for 25 years. والدايا كانا متزوجان مدة which is for 25 سنة, okay? So unfinished past, it started in the past and it's still happening, okay? They are still married, هما لا زال متزوجان, okay? So it's unfinished past. We've lived together for 8 years. عشنا مع بعض ل8 سنوات. So عشنا in the past, but we are in the present. نحن في الحاضر now. So the fact that we lived together is an unfinished past. هي لن تنتهي. It didn't come to an end. We still live together. لا زلنا نعيش together. So my parents are still married. ما زال والداي متزوجان. But they have been married. كانا متزوجان لي for 25 years. This is actually a fact. Okay? We've lived together for 8 years. عشنا مع بعض ل8 سنوات. It's also unfinished past. Which means started in the past. بدأت في الماضي ولا زالت until now, لا زالت إلى يومنا هذا, okay? We use it also to talk about life experiences, تجارب الحياة, anything that we have tried, anything that we tried, okay? أي تجربة, okay? Here's an example. I've traveled a lot in Africa. I have traveled a lot in Africa. And I have the word in my life in between brackets. So if I say I've traveled a lot in Africa, I'm talking في حياتي كلها, okay? سافرت كثيرا إلى أفريقيا. In my life, in my entire life, في حياتي كلها, okay? I've traveled a lot in Africa. This is a life experience. تجربة في الحياة. Okay. The second example, have you ever been to Brazil? Have you ever been to Brazil? This is a question here. You can either talk about your life experiences, يمكنك أنت أن تتحدث عن تجارب حياتك, or you can ask someone for his or her life experiences. يمكنك أن تسأل أشخاص آخرون عن تجارب حياتهم. Okay, so have you ever been to Brazil? هل ذهبت إلى برازيل في أي وقت مضى? So this is what ever means. At any time in your life. في أي وقت مضى من حياتك. Have you ever been to Brazil? هل ذهبت إلى برازيل? So I'm saying here, at any time in your life, which means I don't know the timing. I don't know the specific time. أنا لا أعلم متى exactly, متى بالتحديد أنت ذهبت إلى برازيل. That's why I need to use the perfect tense. لهذا نستعمل زمن البرفكت. Okay, التام, الماضي التام أو الحاضر التام. Okay, so I have words here underlined and they are signal words. So هذه الكلمات المساعدة سوف نتحدث عنها في بعد قليل. Okay, so I have here for, which means لي. Okay, so for, and I have ever. Have you ever been to Brazil? So been to place, which means have you ever went to, have you ever gone to a place? هل ذهبت إلى مكان معين. So we use it to talk about unfinished past and life experiences. تجارب الحياة و unfinished past. أشياء حدثت في الماضي ولا تزال إلى يومنا هذا. Okay. But we also use the present perfect tense to talk about present results. Okay. نتائج في الحاضر. Okay. Let's take a look at the first example. I've lost my car keys. ضيعت مفاتيح سيارتي. Okay. I mean, what do I mean by that? أنا أعني, I still don't have them on me. المفاتيح لا تزال ضائعة. This is the present result. In the present, في الحاضر, المفاتيح لا تزال ضائعة. I still don't have my car keys. I didn't find them. لم أجد my car keys. But I have lost my car keys. Okay? لم تحدث هذه الحادثة في ال present. Okay? حدثت في ال present perfect. حدثت من قبل. حدثت before. And the effect, تأثير هذه الحادثة أو نتائج هذه الحادثة are still happening. لا أزال أتعامل مع النتائج أو تأثير الحادثة in the present, في الحاضر, right now. This is what I mean by present result. Something that happens before, شيء حدث من قبل وتأثيره أو النتائج لا تزال التأثير أو النتائج تحدث في الحاضر. Okay? So I have lost my car keys. ضيعت المفاتيح. التأثير or النتيجة, the effect, the result, I don't have them. Okay? I didn't find them. لم أجد المفاتيح. Alright? We also use it when we announce news. I have news لدي أخبار and I announce them. أعلن عن أخبار. Alright? So, have you heard? Have you heard? Have you heard about what? Heard about what? So, have you heard? Nancy's had her baby. It's a boy. He weighed 3.5 kilos. So, have you heard? This is new piece of information. This is news for you. Okay, أخبار. So I'm sharing news with you. أنا أشاركك بعض الأخبار. All right. Nancy's had a baby. So here, Nancy's had a baby. This is short for Nancy has had her baby. Okay. This is a contraction in the present perfect tense. هذه صيغة مبسطة في زمن المضارع التام. We're going to talk about this. سوف نتحدث عن هذه contraction in a few minutes في لحظات. Alright, so the news, الأخبار, have you heard? Nancy's had her baby. Okay, رزقت baby. It's a boy. He weighed 3.5 kilos. So we can also use the present perfect to deliver news. لكي أشارك news, أخبار, or pieces of information, معلومات with literally anyone. Okay? Okay, now let's start with the conjugation, التصريف and the negative form, صيغة النفي as usual. Okay, I have my personal pronouns here. As usual, I, you, we, they, he, she, it, third person singular. So yes, if you remember, in the perfect tense في هذا الزمن, في زمن الحاضر التام أو المضارع التام or الماضي التام, we are dealing with the auxiliary have. نحن نتعامل مع auxiliary have. So we're basically simply conjugating the auxiliary have. نحن فقط نقوم بتصريف auxiliary have. Okay? So, I have, and I have the example here. I have won an award. ربحت جائزة. I have won an award. Okay? The contraction الصيغة المبسطة I've which is short هي صيغة مبسطة للصيغة المفصلة have. Okay? So I've won an award. And I have my verb here. This is win in the past participle. PP is the past participle, okay? The infinitive is win. أصل الفعل هو win. أربح. So one is the past participle. I told you there's a tense, there's another tense. هناك the past simple, الماضي, and the past participle. There's no rule when it comes to the past participle. The past participle ليس لديه قاعدة. Just like the irregular verbs. تماما مثل الافعال الشاذة. So the only solution is to memorize them. الحل الوحيد هو أن تقوموا بحفظ بعض أفعال, okay, كيف نصرفها في past participle. Remember that the past participle is only used with the perfect tense. فقط نستعمله مع perfect tense only, okay? So, I've won an award, or I have. The negative form, haven't, which is have plus not, okay? So, I haven't won an award. لم أربح جائزة. I haven't won an award. We haven't won an award. You haven't won an award. With she, he, and it has. Okay, or she has won an award. The contraction here is shiz, okay? Please, guys, apostrophe S is not always is, okay? Whenever you see apostrophe S, عندما ترون apostrophe مع S, هي ليست في كل الحالات هي is, okay? Some cases, كما هذه الcase, it's has. Okay, so remember Katie's example, or Nancy. Nancy's had a baby. I'm trying to say Nancy has had a baby, okay? So she's won an award is a contraction for she has. هي صيغة مبسطة لي she has won an award. ربحت جائزة. The negative form, we just add not. So this is has not. This is a combination. هذه الصيغة مفصلة لي hasn't. She hasn't won an award. He hasn't won an award. We haven't, which is a contraction for have plus not. Okay, so هم لم يربحوا جائزة. Okay, so we haven't won an award. The conjugation, this is how we conjugate. هذه الطريقة التي نصرف فيها الأفعال في perfect tense, في present perfect. It's just have or has. الauxiliary, okay? Plus the verb, the main verb, الفعل. ليس أصل الفعل, alright? The verb in the past participle. Okay? That's it. Plus the object of the sentence. So this is how we conjugate the verbs in the present perfect tense, okay? Let's take a look at the next slide. Yeah. I want to show you two words. Remember the underlined words. سأذكرون الكلمات التي سطرتها من قبل. So the first one is for, which means لي, okay? لي. We use it to talk about a period of time, duration, مدة زمنية. My parents have been married for 5 years, okay? هما كانوا متزوجين لمدة 25 سنة, 25 years. So we use it, here are some examples. I can say for 3 years, for 9 months, for a few minutes, لبعض الدقائق, for half an hour, نصف ساعة, for ages. Ages here means, for example, I say, hey guys, I haven't seen you for ages. For ages means a long time, for a long time. لوقت طويل جدا, ages, okay? Sometimes we exaggerate and we say, oh, I haven't seen you for ages, which means, oh, لم ألتقي بك, لم أرك لمدة طويلة جدا, okay? So, for is used for a period of time, the duration, المدة الزمنية. كم استغرقت هذه الحادثة. So, for example, we've known each other for 3 years. تعرفنا على بعضنا لمدة 3 سنوات, okay? Since, however, has another meaning. So since we talk about the point in time, the starting point, متى بدأت هذه الحادثة. منذ, okay? So since is منذ. Since is the starting point, a starting point, okay? البداية. For is كم استغرقت, الduration, okay? المدة. So I can say, My parents have been married since 1997. Okay, منذ 1900 blah blah blah. Okay, or we've known each other since December. تعرفنا على بعضنا or التقينا مع بعضنا منذ شهر December. Okay, or since we can talk about time from the clock. وقت من الساعة, since 10 o'clock. We've started the English lesson since 10 o'clock, for example. Since I was a kid. منذ أن كنت طفل صغير. Or since Christmas, the occasion. So remember, for means لي. The duration, المدة التي استغرقتها الحادثة. Since is the starting point. نقطة البداية, okay? منذ blah blah blah. Okay? Both of these words are used with the perfect tense. نستعمل هذه الكلمات في perfect tense. المضارع التام or الماضي التام. Okay? Okay, so we take a look at some more signal words. بعض الكلمات الأخرى المساعدة. As usual, those signal words, they help you identify the perfect tense or any other tenses. هذه الكلمات تساعدكم على أن تتعرفوا على زمن الفعل أو زمن الماضي التام or الحاضر التام. Okay? The first sentence, I haven't done my homework yet. I haven't done. So here I have the present perfect tense المضارع التام in the negative form في صيغة النفي. I haven't done it. أنا لم أقم بواجباتي المدرسية بعد, which is yet. So here we use yet when we talk about an action, something that is expected to happen. شيء نتوقع منه أن يحدث. Okay? So I haven't done my homework yet. Bad, okay? The signal word is yet. I have another example with yet. Has she eaten yet? Has she eaten yet? So here, okay, let me just do this so I can write on the screen. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the conjugation. نتكلم قليلا عن تصريف الأفعال. So here I have haven't, okay, or have not, and I have done. So the infinitive أصل الفعل هو do, okay? So do in the past في الماضي هي did. أفعل فعلت, and the past participle في past participle becomes done. So do is irregular هو فعل شاذ, okay? So I haven't done. I can't say لا أستطيع أن أقول I haven't did my homework. No. Okay? I can say I did my homework last night. قمت بواجباتي المنزلية في الليلة الماضية. Okay? In the past. But in the perfect tense, we have to use the past participle. يجب أن نستعمل past participle في perfect tense. So I haven't done my homework yet. Bad. Has she eaten yet? So here I have has, of course. So in the questions, if I want to use the questions with the perfect tense, I always start with the auxiliary. عندما أطرح أسئلة, I always start with the auxiliary. Okay, aux here is short for auxiliary. Has she eaten yet? So eaten here, the verb, the infinitive, أصل الفعل هو eat. Okay, now the past, what is the past? We talked about it yesterday. The past, okay, eat في الماضي. So أكل, أكل. Yes, أكل. أكل. أكلت. So أكل أكلت. So eat becomes ate. But eaten is the past perfect, the past participle. So has she eaten yet? So here I'm asking a question because I am expecting this action to happen. أنا أتوقع منها أن تكون قد أكلت by now. Okay, الآن. So I'm asking, هل أكلت بعد? Okay. So yet is a signal word for the perfect tense. I've already, so I've, short for I have, I've already done my homework. Already. So already meaning سابقا, okay? If we talk about something that we are expecting it to happen, شيء نتوقع منه أن يحدث, but it happened sooner than expected. حدث قبل بكثير من الوقت الذي توقعنا منه أن يحدث. So I've already done my homework. Whoa. I was expecting, أنا كنت أتوقع من هذا الشخص أن يقوم بواجباته المدرسية, ولكن لم أكن أتوقع منه أن يقوم بواجباته المدرسية الآن. Okay? So I've already done my homework. قمت بواجباته المدرسية مسبقا or سابقا. We've just had some great news. We've just had some great news. We've, short for we have, we've just had some great news. So the signal word here is just, which means للتو, okay? لقد حظينا بأخبار جيدة للتو. So just, which means recently, للتو, okay? Just recently. Okay? For example, I say, I've just called you. Or I've just told you, لقد أخبرتك للتو. Or لقد اتصلت بك للتو. I've just called you. Okay? He's never tried sushi. He has. He's never tried sushi. Okay? هو لم يجرب السوشي. Never in his life. في أي وقت من his life. So this is a life experience. We are talking about a life experience. نحن نتحدث عن تجربة من تجارب الحياة. So he has never tried sushi. Sorry, this is C. In his life, okay, في حياته كلها, he has never tried sushi. لم يجرب السوشي من قبل. Okay, I have here never, which is an adverb of frequency. هو adverb of frequency. If you remember the previous videos, إذا تتذكرون الفيديوهات السابقة, we talked about the present simple, زمن الحاضر, and we also saw this word. التقينا بهذه الكلمة, but I told you this rule is not 100%, it doesn't always work, okay? So, عندما نرى كلمة never, okay, we have to understand the meaning. يجب أن نفهم معنى الجملة, okay? Because never is not only used in the present simple, with the present simple. Never, لا نستعمل never مع الحاضر فقط, okay? Here's a perfect example. هذا هو الدليل. We are using the perfect tense because the meaning of this sentence, معنى هذه الجملة, أنا لا أتحدث عن habit. I am not talking about a habit, routine أو عادة, okay? She's never late to school. هي لا تتأخر عن المدرسة. Never, أبدا. So that is a routine. هنا أتحدث عن routine, عادة, سلوك. But in this example, I don't mean a routine. I mean a life experience. أنا أتحدث عن تجربة في الحياة, okay? So he's never tried sushi. هو لم يجرب سوشي من قبل. The next example, have you ever been to India? Have you ever? So ever here it means at any time. في أي وقت مضى من حياتك, at any given moment in your life, from your life. Have you ever been to India? هل زرت إنديا في أي وقت مضى? And I'm saying في أي وقت مضى because I don't know the specific timing. أنا لا أعلم متى بالتحديد أنت زرت إنديا. Okay, so the signal word here is ever. It's mostly used with the questions. Okay, نستعملها عندما نسأل شخص عن a life experience. This is another question about life experiences. Excuse my terrible handwriting. I'm trying to get used to this marker on this screen. I haven't been cliff diving before. So cliff diving is الغوص من مكان عالي. A cliff is like a جرف, okay? It's like a mountain, جبل, and beach, okay? بحر. So cliff diving, people jump into the water, يغطسون, okay? So I haven't been cliff diving before, من قبل, okay? This is also life experience, okay? لم أجرب الغطس الحر من قبل, okay? Cliff diving. This is also a life experience. I haven't been. So here my verb is to be. Okay, so I haven't been. So be in the past is was or were. في الماضي هو was or were. The past participle been. Okay. Here try, the past participle, the infinitive is try. أصل الفعل كان try. أحاول. حاولت, tried, okay? So here, have, it becomes had, okay? And do, تصبح done in the past participle. So these are the signal words. هذه هي الكلمات المساعدة that you can use them to identify. يمكنكم أن من خلالها أن تتعرفوا على الزمن الperfect, okay? Let's take a look at the next slide. So the last verb tense we're going to talk about is the past perfect. الماضي التام, okay? So the past perfect, I have another timeline here. سلم زمني آخر. So the past perfect and then the past. So remember that the present perfect, الحاضر المضارع التام, I said it links, the present perfect links the present with the past. يربط الماضي مع الحاضر. The past perfect, I want you to think, and I always say this to my students, أنا دائما أقول هذا الشيء لتلاميذي. I just say, you know what? The past perfect is the past of the past. هو ماضي الماضي, okay? Because it comes before the past. So yes, ماضي الماضي هو الماضي التام. So the past perfect is the past of the past, okay? So let's talk about the past perfect. When do we use it? Since I said that it's the past of the past, which means something happened a long time ago, okay? We use it to express an action in the past which happened before another action in the past. So حدثت حادثة في الماضي، ولكن قبل أن تحدث الحادثة في الماضي حدثت حادثة أخرى قبل الحادثة التي حدثت في الماضي. Whoa, this is a little bit tricky. So yeah, حدثت حادثة في الماضي, an action in the past, but another action happened before the action that happened in the past. حدثت حادثة أخرى قبل الحادثة التي حدثت في الماضي, and that action happened in the past perfect. جرت في الماضي التام, okay? Let's take a look at some examples. Maybe you'll be able to comprehend. So, when I arrived at the party, عندما وصلت إلى الحفلة, okay? So when I arrived to the party, she had left. كانت قد غادرت. So here I have two actions. لدي حادثتين. Two actions, okay? Action number one, not action number one. Well, the first one, when I arrived to the party, عندما وصلت إلى الحفلة. So this action, I have underlined the verb, سطرت على فعل arrived. So this action happened in the past. جرت في الماضي. Arrive, أصل الفعل arrive. In the past, arrived. وصلت إلى الحفلة, in the past. She had left. كانت قد غادرت. Okay? She had left. This is action, the second action. So if I want to order them, إذا أردت أن أرتب الحادثتين, which one comes first? أي حادثة تأتي أولا? When I arrived at the party, عندما وصلت, or كانت قد غادرت, she had left. So of course, this one is the first one. هذه هي الأكشن number one. كانت قد غادرت, she had left already, راحت, okay? And راحت. Okay, so this is action number two. When I arrived at the party, هي action number two. That's why I said the past perfect is the past of the past. الماضي التام هو ماضي الماضي. Okay, because it happens before. It happened before. جرى قبل الماضي. Another example. They were exhausted. كانوا متعبين. They were exhausted. So here I have the verb to be in the past. هذا فعل to be in the past في الماضي. متعبين, exhausted. Very, very tired. متعبين جدا. Okay? Because they'd walked a long way. So they'd here is a contraction. هي صيغة مفصلة. صيغة مبسطة لصيغة المفصلة they had. Okay? So they'd walked a long way. Again, I have two actions. لدي حادثتين. So they were exhausted. كانوا متعبين. Because لأن they'd walked a long way. كانوا قد مشوا لوقت طويل. So, of course, they'd walked a long way. They had walked is the first action. مشوا لوقت طويل هي action number one. هي الحادثة الأولى. Alright? They were exhausted. هي الحادثة الثانية. Okay? So this is when we use the past perfect. نستعمله قبل الماضي, before the past, because it's the past of the past. Okay, just remember it. I want you to remember it like this. أريدكم أن تتذكروها جيدا وبهذه الطريقة. Past perfect is the past of the past. الماضي التام هو ماضي الماضي. Piece of cake, okay? Now, let's take a look at the conjugation. كيف نصرف الأفعال في past perfect. Again, we are dealing with have. I told you that we are dealing with have. نتعامل مع auxiliary have. So have in the past is had. الماضي have هو had, okay? So the rule is simple. القاعدة is really simple. My personal pronouns as usual, I, he, she, it, you, we, they. So here there's no difference. نصرف كل الضمائر نصرف had مع كل الضمائر. Okay? Because it's in the past. لأنها في الماضي. We don't have the she, he, and it rule. Okay? So, I had or I'd, she'd, they'd. This is a contraction. هذه صيغة مبسطة لصيغة المفصلة. I had or she had arrived. وصلت. Okay. We'd arrived. Okay. وصلنا. They'd arrived. وصلوا. In the negative form في صيغة النفي, of course, it's hadn't, which is a contraction. هي صيغة مفصلة مبسطة ل had plus not. Okay. So they hadn't arrived. لم يصلوا. Bad. لم يصلوا bad. Okay. They hadn't arrived. So the rule is simple. Had or apostrophe D plus verb, the past participle. هذا ليس الماضي. This is not the past. Okay. Past participle of the verb. Okay. And this is how we form the past perfect. هكذا نصرف الافعال في الماضي التام. Capiche? I hope you guys understood. Okay, I have an example here. My dad came back from work. عاد أبي من العمل. All right. After بعد the guests had gone. بعد أن غادر الضيوف. Sorry. Yes. So my dad came back from work after the guests had gone. So how many actions do I have here? كم حادثة عندي في هذه الجملة? One action? Of course not. Did you say two? I know you did. So I have two actions. One action حادثة رقم واحد or الحادثة الأولى. My dad came back from work. عاد أبي من العمل. حادثة رقم اثنان غادر الضيوف. So if I want to order them أرتبهم, which action comes first? أي حادثة تأتي أولا? Of course. غادر الضيوف. So the guests had gone. كانوا قد غادروا. Okay. And then my dad came back from work. بعدها my dad عاد من العمل. So if you can take a look at the verb here in this action, because this action happened in the past, this is a past action. I have my verb here, came. So came is irregular verb, an irregular verb. فعل شاذ. The أصل الفعل, the infinitive is come. Okay, come, came after bad. Okay. This is another signal word. هذه كلمة مساعدة أخرى. Okay, you can easily identify the tense of the verb. يمكنكم أن تتعرفوا على زمن الفعل من خلالها. And the guests had gone. Of course, this action, this is the perfect action. Wait, the perfect action. ليست الحادثة المثالية. Perfect action, meaning it happened جرت في past perfect. في الماضي التام. Okay? And I have had, the auxiliary, plus gone. So gone is the past participle of the verb go. هو past participle للفعل participle. Participle للفعل go. Translating is very hard. It's getting harder and harder. So go in the past في الماضي هي went. Okay? The past perfect, gone. So here I have two actions. The past action is always the second one. تأتي الحادثة التي حدثت في الماضي هي دائما الحادثة الثانية. Because الحادثة الأولى, the very first one, the one that happened before, التي تأتي من قبل, is always in the past perfect. Okay, guys? I hope it's crystal clear. Okay, let's take a small exercise. Okay, تمرين بسيط. As usual, we have sentences لدينا جمل, and we are going to conjugate the verbs between brackets. نصرف الأفعال ما بين قوسين في الزمن المناسب, the appropriate tense. Okay? So remember the trick. We always go and underline. دائما نسطر signal words. Okay? الكلمات المساعدة. And then we can identify. We can easily يمكننا أن نتعرف على الفعل المناسب, زمن الفعل المناسب بسهولة. Okay? We can easily identify the tense of the verb. Okay, so let's start. He blank his homework before he slept. I'm going to underline before. Before is a signal word. قبل. Signal word. Okay, كلمة مساعدة. So, I have two actions here. لدي حادثتين. Okay, هو أنجز فروضه المدرسية and قبل أن ينام. So before he slept. I have the verb here, which is sleep. أصل الفعل هو sleep. نام. Okay? Of course, I have to use the past perfect. So, he had finished his homework before he slept. which action comes first؟ أي حادثة أتت أولا؟ كان قد أنجز فروضه المدرسية. الأكشن that happened next، الأكشن التي جرت بعد هذه الأكشن، الحادثة التي تأتي بعد هذا، he slept، نام. okay، ذهب إلى النوم. أنجز فروضه المدرسية، ذهب إلى النوم. okay، 2 actions. My mom blank the house after the guests had gone, and I have the verb here, clean up. After, another signal word، بعد. okay، كلمة مساعدة أخرى، 2 actions حادثتين. The guests had gone، غادر الضيوف. And I have the past perfect، حادثة في past perfect. So the first one, obviously, it's going to be in the past. okay، هذه الحادثة تكون في الماضي. So the guests had gone، غادر الضيوف. After that، بعد أن غادر الضيوف، my mom cleaned up the house، نظفت المنزل. cleaned. Clean is a irregular verb، فعل عادي, so we just add ed. Cleaned up the house. okay, 2 actions, 1 action in the past, 1 action in the past perfect. We blank already مسبقا سابقا our morning coffee. okay، قهوتنا الصباحية. And I have the verb have. So مسبقا, which means this has been completed before. We yes, we've had شربنا. I use the present perfect. We've had we've already had our morning coffee. لقد شربنا قهوتنا الصباحية سابقا. We've already had our morning coffee. The last example, I blank my best friend for 20 years. The verb know، أعرف. Another signal word, for، كلمة مساعدة أخرى، for، لي. So here I want to say تعرفت على صديقتي لي مدة 20 years، 20 سنة. So this is a real example, by the way. A real life example. A realistic one. So what should I use? For 20 years. Yes, I've known. I'm using the present perfect. الحاضر التام. Why? It's unfinished past. This action happened in the past. جرت هذه الحادثة في الماضي. But I still know my best friend. أنا لا أزلت صديقتي. Okay? ولا زلنا أصدقاء. So it's unfinished past. Okay, so we use the present perfect. Okay, so I've known. Apostrophe VE, known. So known is the past participle, or past participle of the verb know. Because know in the past is irregular, an irregular verb, فعل شاذ. So in the past, في الماضي, knew. And the past participle is known. Okay? So guys, just remember, this is the trick, okay? We always underline. دائما نسطر على الsignal words, الكلمات المساعدة, and we look for other verbs. We look for other verbs. نبحث عن دلائل, other hints, دلائل أخرى, okay? So for example, in this case, في هذه الحالة, كانت عندي another action number 2, and I have a verb in the past. So automatically, if I already have a verb in the past, إذا أنا عندي verb في الماضي, الفعل الثاني يكون في past perfect. Okay, so use this trick. استعملوا هذه الtrick, and I hope you guys, I hope it'll help you a lot. Okay, so I guess this is it for today. I hope it was crystal clear. Past perfect الماضي أو الحاضر التام، الماضي تام. Present perfect الحاضر التام. Signal words and how to make the negative form. كيف نصيغ صيغة النفي. And a tiny exercise. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to us. إذا لديكم أي أسئلة, okay? Just leave them في التعليقات. اتركوهم في التعليقات, okay? We are at your disposal, okay? And do not hesitate to visit our Facebook page. Also قوموا بزيارة صفحتنا على الفيسبوك. And if you're not subscribed to Madrassa channel, please do. لا تنسوا أن تشتركوا so you can get notified with our new videos, okay? So this is it for now. I see you guys soon. Take care. Goodbye.